Our speaker today is Neil Helm. Now, many people believe that spirituality is incompatible with hard science. Well, Neil is not one of those people. Neil has spent most of his life in the fields of astronautics and astrophysics, especially regarding satellites. If you have any questions that you've always wanted to ask about satellites, he's your guy, including Lagrangian points, orbital elements, station keeping, and even the jerk. But he is also a near-death experiencer. And he has dedicated his life to not only studying, but living spirituality. He's currently in doctoral studies at Sophia University. He holds a position at Atlantic University, and he's an all-round great guy. So please welcome Neil Helm.
Thank you, Lloyd. Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you, Lloyd. Yes, and those kind words. And congratulations to you, Lloyd, for your first service after your ordination. You're doing great. Thank you, Dax, for that music. I'm really always pleased, and it may not always come across that way, but I'm truly humbled to be invited from time to time to speak from you. You're just a wonderful, loving, beautiful, warm group of people that I just love and always am pleased to be here. I'm talking about the creation story today. It didn't get in it's probably my fault. It didn't get in the bulletin, or it didn't get out. The creation story. And every civilization has a creation story. And some of them have many, many gods. Gods of sun and moon and oceans and animals and all kinds of gods, the Roman gods and the Greek gods, and before that the Chaldeans, and then you go to the Peruvians and the Incas and all of these other early civilizations. All of these people had a creation story. And my creation story is from Neil. Because Neil has no corner on the truth. And this story may very well change slightly. Now, the main big concepts aren't going to change. But if I were to give this presentation again, this homily again in a year, it probably would be somewhat different. So, the creation story. And I'm going to give you the whole essence, the whole story, the whole enchilada, the whole 9 yards, right up front. So the rest of it's all downhill. So, okay. According to Neil, God, my God, and I hope your God, is all-powerful, all-knowing. The big word is omniscient. Oh, that's a good one. Which means really aware and control of everything around you. So there really is only one omniscient being, and that's God. And infinite, infallible. Only one being in my story is that, and that is God. And here's the mantra. She can create any way she wants. That's it. Well, we can finish the service and go home and eat. It's all over. We can even have a vote on that. I know there's been a little bit of rumors about sermons going too long, and this one won't. So, how many people would like me to end right now? Okay, good. I gotta, work a little bit. Okay, how many people would like me to go the full 30 minutes? Okay, sit down. No. How many people would like to maybe 10, 15 minutes more? Okay. 39, 40, 72, 113, 114, we win. So out of out of nothing, out of nothing. The Latin word is ex nihilo. Ex nihilo. It sounds like a good Hawaiian word. Nihilo. But it's Latin. You know, some of us throw a few Latin lawyers, throw a few Latin words around. It makes us look like we're educated or something, and you can charge more money. So, ex nihilo means out of nothing. It means that God was there. I had to study an entire year at Georgetown University in my undergraduate days. An entire year of ethics that was just about the being of God and the creation of God. And it was boring. And you had all of these, you know, and you had potential, and you had actuality, and you had essence, and you had existence. And it went on and on and on and on, so that in the end you were so beaten down that you said, oh yes, there's only one. And I'm still sort of a product of that. There is one God, and that God is the all-powerful, all-omniscient God. And so that's where we are. And now we have the creationists. The creationists, largely Christians, largely, well, all over America. And they believe, as we now, or as I'm sort of believing, that there is one God, and that God, what is it? What is our mantra? She can create anything she wants. But they have sort of built a frame around it that I'm not necessarily all buying into. It's interesting, the big sort of, when this sort of came out of the closet, so to speak, was the Scopes trial in 1925 in Tennessee. And Scopes was a teacher, new teacher. He was from Illinois, a Yankee. Anyway, he got his textbook, and in the textbook was the creation story by creationists, and God in 7 days, and waters, and animals, and fishes, and people. And he said, you know, there's another side to this. This whole thing may have evolved naturally. And of course, many of the kids ran home and told their parents, who told the school board, who sued Scopes. And there was this huge trial at the time, huge trial, with Williams Jennings Bryan, former three-time runner for the President of the United States, former senator from Nebraska, and Clarence Darrow. And there have been movies made about this. And it went back and forth, and was a huge, big radio every day. And it ended up that the school board and the judge in this town in Tennessee ruled that Scopes was guilty of teaching evolution. And at that time, 40 of the 48 states in the United States taught creationism in their public schools. 40 of the 48, 1925. Now it was 1967 before the state of Tennessee stopped teaching creationism in public schools. 67. That means some of us, I didn't get it in my school, but there's a few people out here who were probably taught that in their school system. So the creationists, and in this trial, William Jennings Bryan got up and said, today the world is 4,004 years old, and God created it October 23rd, 4004 BC. And other people talked about the evolution in monkeys, and we know 4,000 years ago there were, you know, Egyptians and Chaldeans and Incas and all these kinds of people. So I don't go with that frame around it. But they're still, the creationists are still there. They are now saying maybe 6,000 years. But we just know, and it's interesting, you ask them about all the fossils and the dinosaur bones and all of that, and the official word is there was a meteor that came in and had a big flood, and all of this came from somewhere else. None of these fossils or dinosaurs or none of that was here. supposedly. So on the other side, we have the evolutionists, that everything evolves, everything evolves, everything is a selection process, the process of the strongest survive. And that evolutionary chronology is, they're still, in the science community, people will write papers and say it's just not. But basically the standard is our world is 13.7 billion years old. And for the first 8 billion years, now again we're talking about a God. Remember, she can create any way she wants. She's not bound by time nor space.
Or sexuality. Or sexuality.
Yes. So she's not, and we can, by the way, I don't mean to be too frivolous. We know that God has no gender. We can say he or she. I think she'd be sort of pleased if we call her she sometimes. But as we read in our early readings, and as Lloyd said, as most of us know God as a vibration, as a light vibration. A lot of people are coalescing on that because more and more of us are seeing that light vibration. But I'll get to that. So anyway, the evolution, so we start out at 13.7 billion, about 8 billion years of just dust. And then we start coalescing into planets, and about a billion years ago, we start seeing the first fungi and cells and that kind of thing. And then we evolve and evolve, and the species evolve into supposedly what we have today, and we're continually evolving. And this school, by the way, is correct that everything is evolving. We as a galaxy evolve, we're moving about 244 million miles an hour all the time, the entire galaxy. Lloyd gets into this better than I do. But we're tumbling, so we're turning like a wheel that goes around in a car. Now the car is going forward, but the wheel comes back around and then goes around. And for our sun to go through the complete galaxy will take 228 million years. But at that time, we're roaring through space, our whole galaxy. So we are moving, we are evolving. That part of it's true. She can do it any way she wants. And that's the sort of the evolutionary story. And then about 100,000 years ago, or some say 200 or 300 or even 400,000 years ago, we saw humanoids. And now we have some proof that Homo sapiens, we're sapiens by the way, Homo sapiens did some interbreeding with Homo neanderthals. Although there's not a lot of evidence of it, but now there's some. So the evolutionists say, oh yeah, you see, we came through the apes and the Neanderthals and we're evolving that way. But then we get back to the group when Lloyd and Susan said of what I think are sort of scientists studying this. And we call ourselves sort of intelligent designers, that school of thought, that there's an intelligent design to her creation. There's an intelligent design. If we look at evolution and we come to the closest species to us, the dolphins and the, interesting enough, hogs, dogs, really the smartest ones we can, they're up to about a few hundred commands. And they're up to a language of, again, perhaps 100 kinds of different sounds and things. And when we do the evolution, we do, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, 2, 2, 3, 3, 3, 3, A, B, B, C, C, D, E, E, and it evolves that way. And that's the way things are evolving. And then all at once, here recently, we have, in our first reading today, a fellow by the name of Einstein, who doesn't do 1 and 2 and 3 and A and B and C. He does E equals mc squared. That is an enormous jump. That is an enormous jump from the A, B, B, C, 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 D, D, D. And so the intelligent designers say, you can't make that jump through just evolution. Simply can't make that jump. You can't get on an airplane in Chicago and fly 13 hours to Sydney, Australia with 111 A, B, B, C, C, C. That airplane and that fuel and those tires and all of that there's an intelligence that we have picked up, that has been given to us, that goes far beyond the A, B, 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 C stuff. And that's what the intelligent designers, and then again in the introduction, there's there's a lot of scientists who beat our heads against the walls, and not that we don't have to, because she can do it any way she wants. But we beat our heads against the wall saying, well, now, if we could only prove this little bit of it, wouldn't that be good, or if we can prove this little bit of it? So we've got intelligent designers who, for example, are looking at all the DNAs. They look at the DNAs, again, the mouses and the hogs and the dogs and the dolphins and all the DNAs. And surprisingly, some of the DNA is quite sophisticated. However, this intelligent, what we call markers, that humans, that sapiens have, those markers are just not found in any of the other DNAs. There's a marker that we have that these other mammals don't have. So we look at DNA, we look at, again, how you do language into E equals mc squared. And so that group of scientists now are saying, you just have to believe that there's an intelligent designer out there. It just will not equate through standard increasing of the species through evolution. It just doesn't equate. Now, I go also to the fact as what Lloyd said, I'm a near-death experiencer. And so in my near-death experience and in deep meditation, I go to the light. And again, the light is vibration, but the light is God. When I was 5 years old, the light said, I am God. And I said, yes, sir. And that's where I really can relate to this group, because we can now find that light. Each and every one of us has the ability to open ourselves, primarily through meditation, deep meditation, but in prayers and in experiences like near-death experiences or spiritually transformative experiences. How many of us out here have had that aha experience where it just the car stopped and then the truck went by and a second later you'd have been dead, or this happened and this happened, or the phone rings and you know who it is, you know who's on the other side. These kinds of things doesn't happen from A, B, B, C, C, D, D. You don't make that intelligent leap. There's someone who has provided us these gifts. And I believe that our God has done this. And so that for a number of reasons, and we can get into, are we supposed to honor God and love God and sing praise to Him and treat our neighbor as we want to be treated? Of course. And all of this flows of why we have a God, why we worship a God, why we acknowledge a God. And again, she can, if she wants to do it through evolution, she can do it through evolution. Of course she can. But at some point, she put in the marker. She put in the marker that we're now allowing us to live a life of great benefits that the hogs and the mice and the others don't have most of the time. So that's it. She can do it any way she wants. But I think that she is doing it the way she wants it to be right now. It seems to be going along pretty well. And we're all benefiting from it. And especially the people here today, I think, are benefiting from it. So let's give thanks and just say, she can create any way she wants. What's happening? She can create any way she wants. Thank you.